Senator Wang.
Thank you, Mr. Acting President. Proposals for a national integrity or anti-corruption agency in Australia date back to the 1980s. Efforts that have quietly been repeatedly rejected by the party political duopoly that runs this country. A decade ago, a joint study by Griffith University and Transparency International Australia recommended, a new independent statutory authority to be tasked as a comprehensive lead agency for investigation and prevention of official corruption, criminal activity and serious misconduct involving Commonwealth officials, including, sadly, by our members of Parliament. Transparency International Australia also called for a national anti-corruption body after claims of corruption in Centrelink leases in 2013. The government itself has also spent the past few years talking about the need for a corruption watchdog, and I acknowledge members of all political parties who have advocated publicly or privately for such an agency. Meanwhile, Australia's international reputation for being relatively corruption-free is waning, dropping from a global ranking of the 7th least corrupted nation 20 years ago to a ranking of 13, behind countries like Canada, New Zealand, and Singapore in Transparency International 2015 Corruption Perceptions Index. Similarly, Hong Kong was known as one of the worst corrupt places on earth 50 years ago, but within 5 years of the start of its independent commission against corruption, all overt and syndicated corruption was eradicated, and Hong Kong is now regarded as one of the most corruption-free societies in the world. The Hong Kong ICAC was among the world's first to effectively enforce protection against private sector corruption, and is an active partner in promoting international cooperation. Given the very important work done by our own agencies, ICAC for example, it is not easy to believe corruption does not exist in governments and parliaments in this country. And add this to an era in which we're corporatizing all of our government institutions, and there is overwhelming evidence at hand to show that now is the time for bipartisan support for a national integrity watchdog. Domestic experience and international best practice models have shown that political leaders must forge broad political coalitions that can endure organized opposition if they hope to prevent systematic corruption. As such, I call on the government and the opposition to reflect the will of the wider Australian public.
Thank you, Senator Wang. Your time's expired.